Stefanie to share hers with us next, please.
Hi Lorna, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Yes, hello, nice to see you.
You too.
I know a few of you on this call, but for anybody that I don't know, hello and welcome. It's really lovely to be part of something so special. And when Matt was talking and then when Donna went on to talk, I kind of sat here and had a moment of realization of actually where I am today, and it's such a pleasure to be asked to be part of something so fantastic, and particularly given the last 4.5 years of my journey into the law. Yeah, I feel honoured, so thank you very much for asking me. I'll just go back to my kind of early days. I think my first job in a law firm was when I was 18, which was in 1998, so a very, very long time ago. And for anybody that follows me on LinkedIn, you may have seen recently I shared a photograph of me doing that job, which reared its head when someone at the firm I was working at the time was retiring, and a friend of mine was going through a box of photographs to put a photo album together, and there I popped up at the photocopier, so that was quite surreal. So that was in 1998, and it was a job that I applied for in the local newspaper for an office junior. And I didn't apply because I wanted to work in the law. I applied because I wanted a job, and it was quite close to where I lived. And I thought, I think I could probably do that. So I applied. And at that time, my job kind of entailed things like covering reception, opening post, lots of photocopying, shopping for lunch for the partners. And over the time that I was there, which was probably a couple of years, I then progressed to become a junior secretary in the family department. And also, like Emma, I attended a touch typing course. Now, they probably do offer those nowadays, but I think that we're all so, when we go to school, we're so used to typing. I think that probably, most people don't need them now, but they were definitely the good thing to have in the 90s. So yeah, I was one of those people. And in 2003, I took a break in terms of my career, and I married my husband and we had a baby. And then in 2008, I moved to New Zealand. And when I started working there, I applied for a job at a small family-run law firm in Wellington City. And it was actually the business owner who suggested that I might like to study the law and qualify as a legal executive. So I approached a place called the Open Polytechnic, which is a learning provider, much like Brightlink. And I thought, yeah, I could do this. So I started, and I was working at the same time. My daughter had gone to primary school by that time, so I had the time to be able to do it. And that's, I think, kind of where I got the bug, because when I was at school, I did my GCSEs. I turned up for them, and I kind of just did a few bits and pieces, but didn't do particularly well. But that was, you get out of things what you put into it. And I certainly didn't do any A levels. I left school as early as I could and started working. So to my surprise, I actually quite enjoyed studying. And so then I got 50% of the way through the course, and we decided to come back to the UK to live in 2012. Now, unfortunately, when I came back, CILEX would not convert what I'd done so far on the course to anything that's relatable to, to what you have to do with CILEX here. So I had to start again. So I took a little bit of time, and then in the meantime, I took a temporary job in a law firm in the family department. And as a result of that job, I actually got offered a permanent job. And I did that for a couple of years, working as a secretary, again in family law. And then I moved on to another local firm, also in the city of Canterbury. And as Matt mentioned earlier, it was here that I actually started to study with originally a local learning provider to me, the specialist pathway in family law. And so by the time I'd started studying, I'd had 5 years working in family law already, albeit as a support member of staff. But of course, you're still completely engrossed in the environment, and not only in the, a law firm as well. So not just actually family law, but the law firm environment, which I think is something that I try to say to people a lot of the time is, as soon as you can, get into that environment and start to learn what it means to be in that environment, and actually whether you like it or not. Because, I'm sure there are lots of people, as in lots of professions, who will come along, they'll do their degree, they'll do a training contract, and then what they actually realise is when they're in a law firm, that's not the type of environment they enjoy. So it is a massive benefit to have that experience. And then after 4.5 years of studying, I actually attended the CILEX graduation ceremony in October 2022. So by that time, I'd been in family law for around, well, nearly a decade. So I have almost a decade's worth of experience, unlike you would have a newly qualified solicitor, which would just have maybe 2 years from their training contract. So for anybody who was there at the graduation ceremony, you will know that I was very, very excited to be attending. And a lot of that was because I sat in awe of the CEO, Linda Ford, and also the guest speaker. And after about 5 minutes of listening to people talk, I actually realised that what they were talking about were people like me, and I was sat in a room full of like-minded people, and with people that had worked just as hard as I have to get there. Juggling working and studying is it's such a challenge, and it's not for the faint-hearted. It takes time, and some people it takes a really long time, but that's okay, because it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there. What's the benefit of having CILEX route to qualifying is it's very flexible, it's affordable. I wasn't lucky enough to ever receive any funding, so I'm completely self-funded, and with the flexibility of, for example, Brightlink and offering installments, it's made it manageable for me, taking money out of my own salary. So without CILEX, without Brightlink, I wouldn't be here today. And I never in a million years ever thought that this is where I would end up in my 40s. It's something, as I said, it wasn't something that I ever set out to do, really. It's just that one person inspired me, and they just kind of lit something inside of me. And then it was my own hard work and my own determination to reach that goal that got me through it. And I'm a huge advocate for CILEX, and if many, I'm sure some of you follow me on LinkedIn, some of you don't, and if you don't, please feel free to connect with me. But you'll see that I am more than happy to call out people if, for example, they're not advertising a job, and if they are advertising a job and they're looking for a solicitor, and it doesn't say lawyer or CILEX, so a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Legal Executives, because they shouldn't, we shouldn't have to do this. We should be treated as equal. And I hope that this is a place that we get to. It's something that Matt was talking about earlier, and certainly I am willing and more than happy to put my energy and time into making sure that we reach that, because I am super proud of everybody that chooses this CILEX route to qualifying. I'm super proud of what I've achieved, and I actually think that CILEX Lawyers bring something so unique to the profession, and particularly with things like the recent introduction of the CILEX Foundation, where they're offering scholarships and bursary funding. This just means that those joining the legal profession is now open to all backgrounds. It makes a more efficient and more representative and service to society in the UK legal sector. And I think that we're just going to go from strength to strength, because we've got real people representing real people, and I think that that's really important. And I often get people asking me, if they want a career in the law, you know, for the, you know, what's my advice that I would give to them? And I would say that we all have to start somewhere. And unfortunately, just because you have a law degree, or if you know, this does apply mainly to people coming out of, you know, university, it doesn't mean that you'll automatically get a trainee job in a law firm, because competition is fierce. And so my number one piece of advice to people is that you should get in a law firm as quickly as possible, and even better, get in a law firm and qualify via the CILEX route.